Good morning, Lancers. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Stand by for LVH 1.
Good morning, Lancers. Today is August 29th, 2019.
Tomorrow's breakfast is a donut or a strawberry pancake.
Tomorrow's lunch is pizza and buffalo chicken wrap in front of cafe.
Picture day is tomorrow, kids, so make sure we look presentable. Also, during lunch tomorrow, Jostens will be here to take orders for class jewelry.
There will also be a youth club meeting tomorrow.
Welcome back, Lancers, to your sports report for today. This week has been eventful with sporting events. Boys soccer and volleyball were in action this week, and there will be a jam-packed weekend as well. Boys soccer took on Rochester Zebras on Tuesday with their home opener. They had a back-and-forth game before tying the Zebras. They will be back in action next Tuesday as they take on the Dragons from Argus. Game is set to kick off at 7. The volleyball team traveled to Knox last night, taking a 3-1 set win and taking home a conference win, and they will be traveling to Goshen tonight as they'll take on the Red Hawks. They're also set to participate in the Jimtown Invitational. They will take on Riley, Elkhart Christian Academy, and host Jimtown Jimmies. Tomorrow, the football team is set to host their regular season home game opener against conference opponent Triton. The theme for tomorrow's game is beach/tourist. We ask that all high school students please sit in the student section and cheer on your Lancer football team. Girls soccer is set to host Elkhart Memorial at Newton Park on Saturday. It is set to kick off at 10 a.m. That's your quick look at sports, Lancers. We'll see you next week.
What are you doing here?
Get that crap out of here.
Well, so what is Board Game Club?
Board Game Club is a time where we get together every week and we play board games. It's that simple.
Okay, so when is it?
It's every Wednesday after school until about 4:30.
So what games do you play?
We play all sorts of games. All sorts of games. Mr. Hill and I bring games in all the time, and I bring in one of my favorites right now is a game called Copenhagen. Brought it in last week. We had some fun with it, and I'm definitely going to be bringing that in every single week.
That sounds great. So do we need to bring our own?
No, you don't. Mr. Hill and I both bring games. If I forget some, Mr. Hill brings his. If he forgets his, I bring mine. So yeah, you guys don't have to bring any games.
That's great. There's some of the board games that don't have a board. They're just cards. Is the name misleading in any way, or is there a thing against card games?
No, we play card games too. It's just typically board games are what we bring and what we play. We have nothing against card games though. I've considered calling it Tabletop Club instead of Board Game Club, but we just have never changed it.
So how long do the games take to play?
It varies. Wednesdays I try to keep them less than an hour, pick the games that are a little shorter. But last year, I think it was about 3 or 4 Saturdays, we came in and we played some of our bigger, longer games for several hours on a Saturday in here in the library, and that was a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. So it sounds like there's a Saturday for longer games?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sounds like there's that, yeah.
Okay. So, so you like board games, okay?
Mhm.
So, how many games do you own?
I have about 70 the last time I counted. Thanks, Mrs. Walter, for being so cool about that. Yes, I have about 70 games, and then I think it was about 20 expansions for some of those games.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of games.
So, out of all of those games, which one's your favorite?
That is a really tough question. All-time favorite? Probably a game called Root. But my favorite kind of varies from time to time, whatever my new game is that I'm really getting into, whatever game that I just haven't played in a while and pick up. But I would say overall, it's Root. It's a good game.
Okay, so real quick, can you give us a run through of a game?
So, for instance, Root is a war game. You're playing as all these different factions fighting in the wilderness, and you're playing these cute little animals, but you're killing each other and trying to conquer different territories and build things on a board. Tons of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun. What is your least favorite board game?
My least favorite board game is probably Monopoly. I'd have to say it's probably Monopoly.
So, real quick, right before we go, look into the camera and say, "Oh, I forgot to mention."
Oh, I forgot to mention one thing.
Oh, hey, I'm going to share a Dutch word. The Dutch word of the week is tot ziens. Goodbye.